We are in COVID Command Center of Southeast Districts of National Capital. Here, the approach is being adopted as to how all those people whose second dose is overdue to reach out to them. There is a control room which has been made, and you can see all these people who are sitting out here. These volunteers are trying to make a contact with all those people who have not yet taken the second dose of COVID vaccine. We have got Vishwendra, who is the DM of Southeast. Sir, thank you very much for taking out time. What is the approach that you are adopting here? How are you reaching out to people? What is the number of overdue beneficiary that you are seeing in your district right now?
See, first and foremost, let me tell you how we approach. The first thing is that we get the data of overdue and due individuals who are to be, vaccinated from the CoWIN portal, and that number tentatively for my district is around 1,24,000. Now, we have that line list which we distribute it on about 40 teams. One room is here, and there is a similar kind of a room in the same premises. Now, each one of these individuals are calling each telephone numbers on to that line list, and about on an average we get 40 to 45% people who respond in the first go itself, and after that 3 approaches are being followed to reach out to them. Number one, we map first and foremost, we tell them the nearest CVC, that is COVID vaccination center, wherein they can go and get their second dose. Second approach is that a line list is prepared. We have an IT cell here itself in the premises. They will give line list to 2 group of people, 2 teams basically. First would be the cluster approach teams who will go to the cluster where these cases are there, and then they'll go and vaccinate the people on the next day. For the sporadic cases, there is Har Ghar Dastak scheme teams. This line list is then also shared with those teams, and then they go out there and during the mop-up they cover those overdue and due cases. Third category is, old and infirm citizens, who cannot go to the CVC or cannot go. So for those people, we prepare a route plan here itself after mapping those kinds of individuals, and mobile teams visit them and vaccinate them in the houses itself. So this is the way we basically, reach out to all these overdue and due cases and try to cover all individuals.
What has been the response like when you approach people, you call people? What is the first reaction that you get, and how is the response right now? And what are the people telling when you call them and say that your vaccination is due? What is the excuse that is being given from their side?
See, the excuse is very varied, and to be candid and upfront, people say, and basically because of the character of this district, the populace of this district, a larger chunk says, "Sir, gaon gaye hue the." We have gone to the native village. There is a segment who says, "Ki sir, time nahi mila." There is a segment which says, "Sir, we were planning to get it done shortly." So the response is very varied, but generally there is an appreciation of the fact that government is actually making a real outreach to cover as many as possible of such kinds of cases. We are trying to reach out to the last mile. Of course, that is a bit tough, but actually this is bearing fruit, and we are able to cover such individuals.
This looks like a very meticulous process, and how much of response are you getting? How much of people are you calling and then they are coming back, or you are able to vaccinate? How has been the response on the ground, if you can tell us about that?
In fact, I would say to the people who we have contacted from here, almost all of them have got themselves vaccinated from once we have made that outreach. Now there is a problem. The problem is about 30 to 40% people are those who actually are not picking up the phone, or the phones are it goes off a blank kind of a thing, or the call goes and somebody doesn't picks up. So in that kind of a scenario, we make minimum 5 repeat calls. If still we are able to connect, then the same process follows. So that segment of percentage which we are unable to connect, that is a point of concern. For that, we have raised the issue with the state authorities, and they are also devising some strategy to address that problem. One of the suggested strategy was to somehow map the on ground team reports with the electronic data which we have, and come out with a kind of a solution. So let's see that works. That is the main problem which I foresee. Other than that, the response is absolutely very good, and it is creating a good perception. One thing I would also add, vaccine hesitancy has is very little. I mean, people are coming forward to get vaccinated because actually vaccine in the previous wave has shown that the impact and severity of the disease is very less. So that has really helped us a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Vishwendra, for your time with video journalist Satyendra Jha. This is Ayushman reporting from the COVID Command Center of Southeast Delhi with video journalist Satyendra Jha.